Hey everyone on the internet, it's Nat here from Studio Hacks. I have a dark trap beat that I made on my iPhone, and I in the previous video showed you how I got that from the session file from my iPhone onto my Mac. I'm now going to mix and master this beat and get it ready to put on YouTube, and also export the stems from GarageBand so I can sell this beat on BeatStars to any artist that wants to use it. I'm going to be mixing this track. It's not ideal to be mixing on headphones, but if I use my studio monitors, it will bleed straight into my microphone. So I have mixed plenty of beats with headphones. The most important thing when you're mixing almost anywhere, but it's especially important for headphones, is to find yourself some reference tracks. So I've just gone online and I've found two other beats that have been highly produced, professionally mixed and mastered, huge view counts on YouTube, that are very similar in style to my track. So I'm listening to them, and then I'm switching back and I'm going to use them as a reference point to get my mix nice and balanced as well. So let's have a quick listen to what we've got. And then I will show you my recommendations on how I would mix and master it. The track is okay, it's balanced okay, but it needs some work. Let's have a quick listen to the first 4 or 8 bars. Okay, so straight away, as a mix engineer, I'm hearing a few things that are completely out of balance. It may have sounded okay on my iPhone through the iPhone speakers or little earbuds that I was using at the time, but the bass is way too loud. The snare's popping a little bit too much. And I also think that probably there's some kind of weird limiting or compression going on that the iPhone GarageBand put on there. We're going to find out that one first by going to the the track window, and we want to make sure that the show the master track is on, because I think it's got some mastering on it. I'm going to double click on the master track, and I can see there straight away, there it is, it's got the limiter engaged, and it's got this mastering stuff engaged, and I don't want that. Let's see, I think I need to dial that bass back a ton as well. So also, none of these are really named correctly, so let's quickly, when we're mixing, it makes it so much easier if we just double click drums. This is a fresh installation of GarageBand, and I want to get this Julian loudness meter that I use on I used in some of my other tutorials. So there's a free version of this meter. Desktop, just for the moment. Really helps me mix and master my tracks, because GarageBand doesn't have very good metering. It's just got this one little meter up the top, and it's really hard to tell whether I'm pushing it too hard. And a loudness meter will tell me straight away in loudness units, LUFS, where I'm sitting, the ballpark. So, I mean, I'm used to mixing music more in Ableton Live and in Pro Tools in a studio environment, but this is just my little home studio that I've got hooked up at the moment. The room is not ideal, so it's probably better to do the headphone mix as well. So let's get this bass sorted. Sounds like there's some distortion on there. I'm going to check the plugins under the smart controls. Yeah, there's distortion on there. The distortion's probably a bit too much. That overdrive is at 230 Hertz. It's a bit muddy. maybe pull this down a bit and pull the distortion back a bit. That's a bit better. If you want that bass to stand out a little bit more, like on smaller speakers, you can do a boost. Yeah, see, look, there's the EQ's a bit wacky here as well. Let's fix this up straight away. It's just got this shelf at like 200 hertz. We want a steeper. No, we don't really want a shelf at all. We want it to pop at about 100 hertz. To get through. I'm going to get the Q a bit higher here as well to pop through on the smaller speakers. And you can see there's a massive peak there just down at like just below at like 40 hertz. That's going to absolutely shred on any system with a sub. So I'm just that's just too much. I might do a little notch at like 60 maybe. 60 hertz. So we'll boost around 60 and then another little notch at 100. And then we're probably just going to try and pull out a bit of mud around the 200. And we're just going to roll off the top a bit because it's not a very bright bass. Okay, now I'm going to go to these drums here and I'm going to pull that snare back a bit. I'm just going to okay, that Julian loudness meter is finished downloading. I'm going to quickly install that. Sorry guys, this is going to be a bit more of a longer video, like a lot of people have asked anyway, for me not to cut stuff out. They want to see the entire process. So yeah, okay, whatever. They want to see the entire process of some of this mixing and mastering, so I'm just going to show you how I would do it, just my complete workflow. So I've installed that Julian loudness meter. I'm just going to save this, quit GarageBand and fire it back up again. Alright. On the master track, under the smart controls, here's my plugins. Let me make sure that I go to GarageBand preferences and under the advanced tab. Oh no, the effects. I've got audio, enable audio units. So maybe this Julian thing's saying that I have to reboot my Mac. So I'm going to do a quick reboot because I really do want to show you this meter. It's a really important part of my mixing and mastering process, especially in GarageBand. So let's pause this video and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so we've got the Julian loudness meter working. It's just under audio units. It's showing up now that I've reset. So yeah, no, we don't want that. So this is a loudness meter. You just play your track for like, 30 seconds or 20 seconds, and it will give you the average loudness in the loudness units, which is good. I'll just play it at the first drop here. Okay, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. So this is the integrated one here that you want to be looking at. This is the loudness units over time. We want this in a mix, ideally to be somewhere between, I don't know, arbitrarily -20 and -16, -15, anywhere up to -14. We need to give the track a bit of headroom, so when we master it, we can get it all the way up to like -9, -10, -9, -8, commercial level loudness. We need that headroom for the mastering. So this could probably be just a tiny bit louder. Everything could come up a tiny bit more. But I'm going to keep this to the side, and on my other screen, which you can't see, I'm just going to use that as a reference. So let's start dealing with these drums a little bit more. Okay, from the very beginning, the snares are a little bit bright and a little bit too intense. So let's go for how do we access the track? Here we go. Master and track. I'm just looking for the track at the moment. I'm going to pull these snares and claps back a bit. I'm also going to do some automation on that EQ. So let's just first look at these controls. I'm just going to pull the overdrive off the drums, and I'm going to pull the EQ back up to normal. I'm going to get rid of the low pass filter. That's actually a shelf, and this shelf too, I don't particularly see the need for them. This is just automatic things GarageBand has popped on there. I'm going to automate a filter sweep. So you hit the A button for automation, and then on the drum track, the channel EQ. There seems to be 2 EQs here. Let's have a look on the plugins. 1 EQ there, and another one here. Let's see which one is the, if I switch this second one off. Okay, so the one that the standard one that's coming up under the track is that first one there. So that's the EQ, just this channel EQ. So it's the low pass filter. It's also called the high cut. High cut frequency is what we want. And let's pop an automation point on there, so we can automate that over time. We want it all the way up for the most of the track, but I just want to darken that snare at the start. It's coming in a bit bright. It also helps the drop pop a little bit more. So I'm going to just pull this. I'm going to zoom right in there. Let's make this full screen. I'm just going to make it drop right on that beat there. See how it really brightens there? I reckon the overall volume of this first arpeggiator, or this first lead line, can just come up a little bit. I'm just using the volume automation to pop this up a bit more. Oh, actually, I just noticed there's volume automation all the way through this. I can just see there's volume automation, although I must have done that on the phone. So instead of muck around with that, I'm just going to go to the smart controls on that actual track, and I'm going to do a little trick. If you've already got volume automation, you can just go to the channel EQ on that particular track, and you can just boost the gain up a little bit there. Okay, I'm going to put a low shelf. Just take the real low end out of those lead lines to clean up the entire track a bit more. I'm going to do it on this track as well. I'm going to put a high pass filter on the crowd noise so we don't get too much rumble. That's sounding already immensely better. Let's find that Julian loudness meter and just check where we are. It's just a nice, it's more slick, it's just nice on the ears. So back to track, Julian loudness meter. Okay, so I can probably pop a little bit of this multi-band compressor a little bit, just squeeze it a tiny bit. Okay, that snare is still just bugging me just a tiny bit. I don't know how I'm really going to deal with that too much. I think it's just the volume of it. I'm going to put some very, very light limiting on the master bus. Beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that all the rest of these samples are sitting okay in this track. I kind of like it where it is. I'm not going to spend, I don't spend too much time agonizing when I'm mixing my beats. I usually do a mix and then leave it for a day or two, come back and listen to it with fresh ears, listen to it on the studio monitors, listen to it, you know, inside on a different stereo. And then sometimes I won't have to change anything. Other times I might have to tweak the bass or something like that. But let's just have a quick playthrough, and I'll just do any final tweaks that we have to do before I export this ready for mastering. Cool, so I'm just going to now go and listen to those reference tracks, and then I'm going to compare it back to my mix to see how I'm going. I'm going to grab these, just going to exit full screen and just grab these reference tracks. I can't play them on this video. I can't play them on this video for copyright reasons, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so after listening to those reference tracks, I realized that my bass just needed a little bit more grit to it, so I've added this overdrive plugin to the channel, and that's just given it a bit more drive and a bit of a grit up around the 1 kilohertz, just a little bit more sort of edge and fuzz to it. And I also noticed that their mixes were a bit drier. Mine's a little bit wet, a little bit too much reverb. So let's see if we can reduce this overall reverb, maybe just by going to the master track, going to the effects and selecting the master reverb and just pulling this back a bit. Yeah, that's slightly less saturated. I also use the automation to do a fade out on the master track at the end. And I've got the cycle region on at the moment, so let's just try that again. So this is at the end. So then I pop my cycle region all the way to the end there and all the way to the start. Now, under preferences, I want to make sure that I untick export projects at full volume. I do not want to tick there. That will pop its own wacky normalization and mastering, semi-mastering to it. We do not want that. We want to go share, and we want to export song to disk. And I've already exported this. I've just selected a WAV file, uncompressed 24-bit, and I've ticked export cycle area or length of selected regions because I want to get it all the way from the start, from my cycle region, this yellow thing up the top. I want it to look to that for the length of the song. Now, I normally master my beats using an online mastering tool called eMastered. I do have an online course that you can do if you want to learn how to do all your own mastering for free in GarageBand using the master track. I've got a course called producing electronic chill pop music, and in that I go through this little effects chain. I build my own mastering chain and get the most out of the mastering chain that we have already inbuilt into GarageBand. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use my online mastering tool, which is eMastered, which I use to master my tracks. I'm also going to see if I can download one of these beats from their website or whatever. See if I can get a high quality version of it to upload as a reference track, and we'll do some reference mastering. I'm going to pause the video while I get that sorted out, and then at the end of this video I'll play you the final result. So I managed to get an MP3 of one of those tracks, and I'll drag my one that needs to be mastered, and then eMastered is going to upload that track and do its best to match the tone and the loudness. I'd be really interested while it's doing that. I'm just going to save what I've done. I usually do a save as. I've called this track Dark Matter Final Mix. So I'll back all these up onto an external hard drive, and then I'm going to do a new project where I've just got a single audio track. And on this audio track, I do not want any presets. I want it to be a vanilla audio track because I'm going to bring in that. It's going to start playing automatically when it's finished. So when this is finished, I'm going to import it into GarageBand and see how loud it is now with that Julian loudness meter. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so they've finished the mastering process on eMastered, and it should have downloaded a couple of files here. Here's the one here. I'm going to drag this in onto a new track, and I'm just really interested to see basically what the algorithm has done on how loud it's made it. So on my master track, I'm going to pop that Julian loudness meter on there, and let's just have a listen to this track. This is the final product. So thanks for watching this video, everyone, and in the next video I'm going to show you how I can go and take that session and export the stems for that, so I can upload them to BeatStars, and if someone buys that beat, I can send them each individual track as a individual audio file. So here's the finished product, and I'll see you in the next video.